This is Fat Me Man, and I'm back here in my second home. You probably recognize my home. And what I want to talk about is grafting queen cells. And I'm going to give you some different alternatives to grafting without buying expensive tools. Here's two that I've made. This is another one that we use. It's a toothpick. I'm going to get the camera and come up a little closer, and then I'll start talking more about this grafting. And then you can see what I want to do is show you you don't have to buy a bunch of fancy stuff. Get the camera off of here. All right, now I'm over here. Now, I hope this camera, I've got this bottle here to show you in a little more detail. Now, grafting is like riding a bicycle. And you can go to the yard sale and buy a $2 bicycle or a $500 custom-made bicycle. As long as you know how to ride that bicycle, it doesn't make any difference. It gets you from one place to the other. Now, I'm going to do this video. It's different types of grafting tools. And I'm going to dedicate this to my friend up there in New York. He goes by the Swamp Rat. And he's getting into doing queens, so maybe he'll pick up a few little tricks. Now here's one thing that people use. I'm going to get down close. You can see this. I'm holding it over a black bottle so you can see the difference. This is an artist brush. This is one thing that you can do. You can use an artist brush. The next thing, this you might recognize is a paper clip. And I'm going to try to turn it where you can see the very tip of it. Can you see how that is flattened down? I flattened it down. I used my table on the table saw, and I flattened it down good. You can see how it's got a little flat spot. Now here's two examples if you're not buying queen grafting stuff. Now, most of you people probably recognize this. This is a piece of copper wire. And you notice I've got a little spoon right on the end here. I get in the cell, come along, pick up the larva, and then transfer it. All right, it's just a plain old toothpick. Now on a toothpick, chew the end a little bit. Now this is a grafting, Chinese grafting needle. Now I'm going to work the end. You can see you get right down on the end of the, it's got a little bone there that you can push the larva right off. You stick it down in the cell. See how the end of it? You want one that's flexible. See the end flexing? Now, if you buy these, I suggest buy 10 or 20 of these. These are probably $3 a piece. Now, I'll try to buy 20 of them at a time, and maybe out of 10 of them, or 15, I'll find one that is flexible enough. See, this is pretty flexible on the end. I can see that flexing. It's just a little thing. And these things here, what you want to do after you get done using them, you're dipping down in the cell. And when you transfer your larva, you're going to pick up royal jelly and maybe a little debris of wax. You want to dip these things a few times in the rubbing alcohol, sterilize them before and after. And that's going to keep this thing freed up. I'm not getting this focused. There it is. You can see that little end coming off. And see how that bends up, coming in an angle? Okay, now these things here is just one way. I mean, they have grafted needles out there. When I started buying a few different ones. I've got a stainless steel one. I've got several of these Chinese ones. When I go back down to it, I always get this little copper wire Or if I'm out in the field, I use the toothpick. And you just take that toothpick. I like a flat toothpick, or you can get the little bit larger round toothpick. And just chew the end a little bit and get it soft and kind of flatten it down a little bit with your hive tool. It's excellent when you're out in the field and you have to make a few extra queen cells. And you want to do a little grafting and you don't want to run back to the house. It might be 10 minutes away. It might be 2 hours away. So this is just my take on how to be cheap, how to save money, and use your brain instead of your wallet. Now, I'm on Facebook, and you can send me a little note if you want to see something. I'm doing a bunch of videos, and I'm going to go back and start doing some on the mini nukes and the 5-frame. And we're getting up into winter. We're up into December now. And what we're going to do is start a whole series of the essence of oils and the different ways to treat. I mean, if I was to stay back here day after day after day and making videos, I'd never get nothing done. Now I'm going to swing up here. You can see, there's my window. There's my storage trailer. You can see it is dark out here, and I try to make use of my time and try to do a few videos. If they're helping you a little bit, send me a little note, a little comment. I'll try to get back with you, and I'll try to put up as much information. And whether you use this information or not, it gives you a choice where you're spending your money, and you don't need to go in there and buy the most expensive thing that's in that catalog. You can usually do a lot of that stuff yourself. Now, this is the Fat Bee Man, and I appreciate you watching.